Good morning. Welcome back to class. We are going to complete 6-4 today. I break it into two parts because there's the luxury of the time of doing that. And I do think that in order to understand the second part of this, you need to have gone home and processed through that discount interest. I think what we discovered in our last class session is it didn't seem to be quite as comfortable as simple interest was. Once you got home and you did the homework, do we have questions on any of those problems? You just kind of, once you buy the program and you know what you're going to do with it, even if you haven't experienced it, it does make sense, right? We've got two problems here that we're going to do today, and in order to do those, I like to do a little role playing. So I'm just going to randomly pick 3 people to do the first one and then randomly pick 3 people to do the second one, because as you're doing your homework, as you get ready to review for the test, I think when you read the words it seems very cumbersome and it seems very confusing, where if we put people in the role-playing situation and see the situation for what it is and kind of make it real, it really helps. So does anyone have any desire to have a retail shop of any sort? What would you like to sell?
Shoes.
You're going to have a shoe store, and I bet they would be fun shoes. Yeah? Cool shoes. All right. So Cassandra's going to have a shoe store, and she is going to be selling shoes. Anybody like to buy shoes? Holly said she'd love to. Yeah. Holly wants to buy shoes, and Holly's kind of an extravagant shoe buyer, okay? And she comes in and decides to buy from you $2,000 worth of shoes. There's only one problem. She wants you to finance them, but be assured she's more than willing to pay you interest, okay? So you sell $2,000 worth of shoes to Holly. Holly signs a note to you, a promissory note to you. It's a simple interest note between you and Holly. You have made money on these shoes, so you are happy. You know what I'm saying? You didn't sell her $2,000 worth of shoes without some profit built in, right? So in addition to the profit from the shoes, you're now going to make profit on interest from the note, and it is a simple interest note, okay? What we're going to do is, Patrick looked lonesome up here, so we're going to have him be, a banker here in a little bit, okay? So what I want to do to begin with, and we really are on that next page, and we're looking at the situation where you are the firm, you are the shoe store, you have a 45-day ordinary simple interest note from Holly that was dated October 20th. It has a face value of $2,000 and an interest rate of 14%. So Holly to Cassandra, having nothing to do with the banker, those two people have established a business relationship. Holly agrees to pay 14% interest. She's going to walk off with the shoes today, and in 45 days she's going to come back and pay Cassandra 14% interest on $2,000 for her shoes, okay? To begin with, let's establish what's happening in the note between Cassandra and Holly, okay? First of all, I see the proceeds of that note as being $2,000 because Holly took away $2,000 worth of shoes, yes? How much is Holly going to pay back to Cassandra in 45 days, and when is she going to pay it back? Well, how much interest is she going to owe you? 14%. 14%. So how much interest is that? Yeah. I'm hearing whispers of the right numbers. How much interest for 45 days, simple interest ordinary? How much? $35 interest. What day is that note due? She borrowed the money on October 20th. Get out your table of days and figure out when Holly owes Cassandra the money. December 4th. October 20th is day 293. I add 45 days to 293. I find out that Holly owes her money back on day 338, which is December 4th. So we have a situation where two people are involved in a simple interest note. Maturity value for Holly's note then is $2,035. Cassandra has made money on the shoes. She is going to now make an extra $35 in interest, okay? Business is really, really, really good in Cassandra's shop. She sells shoes to lots of people. She needs to buy more shoes to put in her shoe store. Business is booming. Problem is, she has taken loans or, promissory notes from people. And in order to buy more shoes for her shoe store, what does she need? Cash. She needs cash. What she has is pieces of paper from people that she sold these large, vast quantities of shoes to. Are you with me? So she's kind of got a problem. Now she's got all these shoes sold. She's got an empty shoe store. She needs cash because she needs to go buy more wonderful shoes to put in her shoe store. And she has an idea. She has a friend, Patrick, who's a banker. So Holly is totally out of the picture. Holly has an IOU made out to Cassandra for $235. She's off someplace wearing her shoes. On December 4th, she's going to come up with the money. But Cassandra needs money today. It is October the 31st, okay? Cassandra has lunch with her friend Patrick and says, Patrick, business has been booming. I'm making money hand over fist, but I don't have the money to buy any more inventory. So Patrick agrees to buy Holly's IOU from Cassandra. Does that make sense? Patrick will take the note that you are holding, because it has value, and we're assuming here that Holly's got good credit and that Holly is going to pay back the money, but Cassandra takes the piece of paper to Patrick. Patrick, who's the banker, agrees to take out a discount loan, discount note with Cassandra, 16%. He's going to charge her more money than she charged Cassandra, than Cassandra charged Holly, because he's taking a gamble that Holly won't pay her back. Does that make sense? So this note now is between Cassandra and Patrick. Completely different situation, and Holly has nothing to do with it, okay? So between Patrick and Cassandra, she gives him the promissory note from Holly. No, you give him a note. How much is the note worth? $2,035. That's exactly right. You sell the note, sometimes called discounting the paper or discounting the loans, to Patrick. And this is the way business really does things. You go to Patrick with this piece of paper. Holly has signed this piece of paper that says, I owe you how much money? $2,035. That's right, $2,035. Patrick agrees to buy the note, right, at 16% discount interest. This is on October the 31st, so this kind of gets to be a little complicated. How many days is it between the time that he grabs hold of that note and that Holly pays it back? How'd you get that? But how did you come up with 34 days?
To October 31st is 11 days.
That's right. So Cassandra has held the note for 11 days. She's been earning interest on it for 11 days, right? Have passed, right. On day 304, she sells the paper to Patrick. The money's due on day 338, so there's a total of 34 days left. So he's only going to earn discount interest for 34 days, okay? So we have a second calculation here. It's between the bank and Cassandra. Holly's completely out of this one. We're going to, let me turn on my stuff here, and what are we going to set up for the calculation? Because the numbers suddenly change. What is P in this case? $2,035. What is I in this case? 16%. And what is the time? 34 over 360, right. So our first was a simple, let me get on here, hold on. Interest note. That first simple interest note was $2,000. It was at 14%, and it was for a total of 45 days. We have a completely different second calculation. It's when Cassandra discounts the note, principal changes, interest changes, time changes. How much interest is calculated here? $30.75. Patrick's going to go in the other room and cut a check, make it out to Cassandra. Cassandra's going to hand him the IOU from Holly. How much money is Cassandra going to receive? Right. It's discount. So the proceeds to Cassandra are $2,004.25. Cassandra's happy. She sold $2,000 worth of shoes to Holly. She made money on the shoes. She's got $2,004 to go buy some more shoes. Life is good. Business goes on. More inventory, more things to sell. Patrick's got a 16% 34-day loan. He's happy. What's going to happen on December 4th? Holly's going to pay Patrick. She sold the note, so Cassandra's walked away. Holly's going to pay Patrick $2,035, which she always promised. Has nothing to do with bad credit for Holly. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't speak poorly of Holly. It does not speak poorly of Cassandra. Sometimes when business is good and you've been financing things, you need more cash to buy more inventory. So I don't want you to think that people who have their papers sold are bad credit risks. I don't want you to think that companies that sell paper are doing anything wrong. Sometimes business is so good, what you need to do is get more cash because you're selling so much you don't have any money for inventory. Is it a good situation for Patrick? Sure. He's a banker. How much money did Patrick make? Yes. Profit to the bank actually is $30.75. It really is this amount of interest. He has a note for $2,035. He's going to pay Cassandra the $2,004.25. He's making money, so it's kind of a win-win-win situation. Okay? But when you read these, you kind of have to set up the scenario and kind of do the role play to kind of see what's going on, because there really are two notes going on. And you've all seen car lots where they say, we finance, and if they need more money, they can take those IOUs or those notes. And, it's commonly referred to as discounting paper. And so that's what I told you. When we started dealing with simple interest notes, it's the kind of things that happen between people or between people and companies, where when we talk about discount interest, it tends to happen between companies and companies or companies and banks. So since you've maybe never dealt with being with a company, maybe that's something you're not familiar with. But if you're holding an IOU from someone, it has value, particularly if that person's got good credit. There's a couple of things I'd like to talk about that you're not responsible for, but have you thought of a question that might muddy the water in this particular situation? Who's responsible if Holly doesn't pay?
I am, aren't I?
It depends. And this is just kind of just to tell you the situation. When you sell that note to Patrick, there are two possibilities. One is called a non-recourse note. That says if Holly doesn't pay, Patrick can't come after you. Non-recourse says he has no recourse with you. He can't come back to you. The other way would be with recourse, saying if Holly doesn't pay, you're responsible. So generally there's a decision made between the banker and the person selling the note or discounting the note as to that situation. Obviously, if you're going to have no recourse or non-recourse situations, Patrick's probably going to charge you a higher interest rate to take on that liability. With recourse, he's probably going to give you a much better deal because then it's your problem if Holly doesn't pay. Has anyone dealt with a situation where they financed something? What happened? Talk to me. Real life situation where you paid someone else back?
It was actually a couple days ago, but I mean, I've financed a lot lately. I financed a new Jetta.
A new what?
A new Jetta.
Oh, a car, right.
Yeah.
But have they ever then told you to pay someone different?
Yeah, in the past it's happened a little bit.
It's happened, right. I've had people in class before that said their home loan had for the first so many years, you know, and they sell mortgages. Absolutely. Absolutely, that happens. Maybe a company decides to get out of the mortgage business. They've decided to go strictly to credit cards, and they used to handle mortgages, and they've decided they're not going to do that anymore. Then they will take all of the IOU, the notes, the promissory notes, and sell them to someone else, and you'll get a note in the mail that says, effective the first of a certain month, new address, and I don't want you to think when that happens to you it's because you've done anything wrong or that mortgage company is in some sort of trouble. It simply means they've restructured what they're doing. They're going to put their money someplace else, and they've bundled notes, and generally they've sold them in bulk. And people very often will say, yes, I've paid my mortgage to 3 different people now because the mortgage company, keeps changing. Or he said, like with a car, if you finance with a company, you might pay them for a while, and the first thing you know, they say now start paying someone else. Doesn't mean you've done anything wrong or that they've done anything wrong. Okay, is that one an okay situation? Making more sense now? Again, I think as you read these, homework or the test, then what you need to do is sort of see a story and put names on them. I'll have Allison be the store owner this time. I don't know. What are you going to sell, Allison? Anything but gorgeous shoes. Ooh, my goodness. We need something bigger than that. We're going to sell $10,500 worth of stuff.
Sofas.
Can it be a furniture store? Let's have it be a furniture store. Okay. And Marilyn, would you buy some furniture from her? $10,500 worth of furniture. And we'll just let Keegan be our banker today, okay? So to begin with, Allison sells and makes a profit on, right, $10,500 worth of merchandise. She sells it to Marilyn. Marilyn says, I don't have the money right now. And, or Allison maybe ran an ad that says 180-day financing available. And Marilyn might have the money and just choose not to pay you because your financing deal is a good deal, okay? So March 15th, Allison sells $10,500 worth of merchandise to Marilyn, and Marilyn signs a promissory note made out to Allison's furniture store, and the banker is not involved in any way, okay? He's out of the picture at this point. First thing you've got to do is figure out what the simple interest note situation is. These just all have to be handled separately. This is Allison to Marilyn, or Marilyn to Allison. This is between the two of them. It's $10,500. She's agreed. I don't know why I didn't make these different numbers. 14%. I'm not very creative. It was 180 days, and it was ordinary interest. It could have been any interest rate. It could have been exact. I mean, the simple interest calculation could be with any different number. How much interest has Marilyn agreed to pay? Yeah. So the value of the note that's actually signed, the maturity value of the note is how much? $11,235. Okay, we're going to do one more thing. We're going to make kind of a crazy number line here. And we're going to come up with March 15th, which is the day this happened. It was day 74. It's a 180-day note, so it's going to be due on day 254. And what day is 254? September 11th. No banker needed. Marilyn has agreed on September 11th to pay back $11,235. And Allison's made money on that $10,000 worth of furniture. There was a profit built into that. Okay? She's not really trying to make money on financing. What she's made money on is furniture. On April 15th, Allison realizes that she either needs to pay taxes, she wants to go on vacation, she sold so much furniture she needs more money. She needs cash for some reason. And so she's got a banker named Keegan. So she goes to the bank, talks to Keegan on April the 15th. What day of the year is April 15th? It's day 105. And says to Keegan, I've got a promissory note from Marilyn. What is the principal involved in that promissory note? It's not $10,500. Yeah, it is the $11,235. That's the value of that note. Keegan agrees to buy the paper, to buy the promissory note from Allison. So we're going to have $11,235. He says it'll be 16% discount interest. How many days is Keegan going to hold the paper? 149. How come?
Because he subtracted 30.
That's right. Here's the time right in here that Keegan holds the note. So he holds it from day 105 to day 254. Yeah? So that's a total of 149 days that the banker holds the note. Most common mistake, obviously, is to come up with that. I said you kind of have to draw pictures, think through the story. How long does Keegan hold the paper? He holds it for 149 days. Okay, how much interest is he charging Allison? No, 16%, you're right, but money-wise. And 1 cent is what I got. Proceeds to Allison. I end up with $10,490.99. I take the value of the note and I subtract the discounted interest to come up with that much money. Allison actually gave Marilyn $10,500 worth of furniture. She's only getting $10,490.99 from Keegan. Is that a real problem to her? Not really. She made money on the furniture. I mean, we're talking here less than $10. And she made money on the furniture that she sold to Marilyn to begin with. It's more important to her to get the cash in hand. So it's not really a big losing situation for Allison. She needs the money to either buy more inventory, go on vacation, pay some bills. So the fact that she's lost $9 does not make this a losing situation for Allison at all. Yes? How much money is the banker going to make? Right. The discount interest right here is always the profit to the bank. It's because when Marilyn pays it back, she's going to pay back $11,235. He gave Allison, these are big numbers, I know, $10,490. When you subtract those two, you always come up with the discount interest amount. So, I mean, you can make that subtraction, or you can realize that the discount interest really is the profit to the bank. And again, these are very common occurrences and a very normal real-life situation where discount interest is used, generally with some sort of an IOU being sold and the company getting the money. Another very common one is the treasury bills, the treasury notes, where you buy them for discount interest. Is that making sense? Sure. I'm sorry? We took, good question. No, we took the value of the note, which was 11,235, and we subtracted the discount interest. When it's discount interest, if you recall, we subtract the interest to get the proceeds. The value of the note that Allison is holding is $11,235. Keegan takes that note and he gives Allison money, but he subtracts the interest, which is his profit, before he gives her the money. So discount interest we subtract before we come up with proceeds, and maturity value is face value. So you can see why there's a whole page with lots of room to write on these, because you're going to have a simple interest note to begin with, followed by a discount interest note, followed by thinking through the process. Okay? Everyone figure out where all those numbers came from? Okay, then let's take a look at the homework. We're going to be on page 209. And let's do one of these together. Which one do we want to do? Want to do 31, 33? You want to just try 31? Okay, why don't you take a minute, get it clear in your head, and we'll make sure before you leave here you've got 31 done properly. I'll finish taking roll while you work on it. I've got who's got the simple interest calculation completed? What'd you get, Marilyn?
243.75 on the simple interest.
With a maturity value?
77.43.75.
Anyone disagree or need help? So that's the original note between the store owner and the person who's buying something at the store. It can be a car, it could be furniture. Since it's $7,500, it's not a candy store, Allison. It's going to be bigger than that. Then you need to think about the store owner going to the bank and selling the paper. What's the time on the discount note?
On which one?
The second calculation.
64 days.
64 days. Does anyone agree? And again, that's the hard part. Realizing that it's how much is left on the note, not how much time has passed. Okay. How much discount interest is there then?
165.20.
Proceeds to business owner? 75. 55. And what would the profit to the bank be?
Would be 165.
Keith, is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that making sense?
Definitely.
Could you look at 33?
She said, do we have time to look at 33? And I think the answer to that is yes. Is it confusing?
Well, I'm way off according to the books.
Okay.
I've done it twice and I get the same
All right.
thing.
So we'll set up 33. Is everyone happy with 31?
It's confusing me.
Okay. Just take a minute.
Just one point, or-
Let me flip the page. We'll work on 33 together here. The original note is for $16,500, 14% interest, 120 days ordinary. Okay, so how much interest is there due on the simple interest note? Anyone agree? 770? Is it 770? Okay, maturity value then. This is simple interest, so we're adding the interest. Okay, this note was dated August 10th, and September 8th, this one happened. When is the note due? If it's what's 120 days past August 10th? What day is August 10th? 2/22. If it's due 120 days later, it's due on day 342. So when is it due? 342, December 8th. You know, I don't even have my table of days with me, so I'm counting on you to help me. Okay, that's day 342. What day is September 8th? This is day 251. It's going to be due on December 8th, which is day 342. So I take 342 and subtract 251. How many days are left on the note? She said 91 days left. Does anyone agree? Okay, so what we're going to do then on the discount note is we start out, the principal is the maturity value, the value of the note itself, the amount that the person that bought the original merchandise agreed to pay back. And we're saying that this is discounted for at 13%. And it was for 91 days. And do we think it's ordinary? Yes. You see what you did? You did it 3 times and you made the same mistake every time. Which is why sometimes when I come and look at what you're doing, I mean, if you multiply 2 times 2 and get 5, it becomes 5 for me, just like it was for you. I'm so much better off walking away and doing it myself. Okay, she put 91 over 120, and that's what you'll discover. You know, you'll do crazy things. So back to, don't assume the answer in the back of the book is wrong, and you're right. Come to class and double check. Okay. And that's how come also sometimes you're really smart to turn the page over and instead of going over your calculations, reset it up. The book is right. Very good, very good. That happens pretty often. So what did we get for interest on that one? 51. So then we're going to have proceeds to the business owner. And this is the profit to the bank. Yeah, one number. So, good. Again, each one of these, I think you need to think through the process and do it in steps instead of looking at it as one big confusing jumble of words. So. Oh, well, let's see. What did the book say? Well, maybe we calculated that wrong. Take 7. Who's got their calculator? Allison? 17,270. Are we sure this number's right? Everyone agrees that 770 is correct, right? And I'm thinking that 16,500 plus 770, that 17,270's got to be right, okay? Okay, and this looks right. Somebody enter that in their calculator. Do you get 567.51?
It says it's a simple discount method, so we should subtract the interest from the first part instead of adding it.
Oh, and then it's discounted again. Thank you, Allison. The original note was a discount note, and then it was, the original note is a discount note. Right. Okay, so this one is not simple. This one is also a discount interest. Okay, the plot thickens. Probably good that we got involved in this one. Here we go. We do end up with 770 as interest, but so this maturity value here, okay, then we're going to have proceeds to, I don't know what questions it's asking. Find the bank discount proceeds from the sale of the note. So we're not going to worry about the proceeds in the original one, but the maturity value of this note is going to be $16,500 because the proceeds from the original note, we would subtract the interest. Thank you, Allison. So these numbers are wrong. We've got 16,500 here. So we've got discount interest twice. So 16,500 times 0.13 times 91 divided by 360. How much money? We don't, because the maturity value, how much we've sold, how much the person agrees to pay back is $16,500. So that is the value of that note. Excuse me? We always, in the second note, when we're taking it to the bank, say, what is the value of this note? Well, the value of that note is $16,500. Let's do a story here. Confusion. I think just to see if you catch what Allison caught and I didn't. I think to see if we're reading correctly. I think it's to see if we're reading correctly. What is 16,500 times 13 times 91 divided by 360? 542 what? 21. So now the proceeds. No, when you sell a note, okay, really that entire first transaction, has a maturity value of 16,500. So you really, as you would go through the role play of this, then you would take your paper worth 16,500 to the bank, and that would be the maturity. You know, you're always selling the maturity value of the note, and the maturity value of the note is really the 16,500, right? And we just didn't read that both of those were discount. Allison caught it.
The loss? I'm afraid to look 35. No.
No. How much?
Oh, the bank's going to get 542.
That's right.
Yeah.
How much is the person that is selling the note going to receive? That was my next question. What are the proceeds?
15,957.79.
57?
Yes.
Okay. Right. The bank always makes money. And we're assuming that with that discount interest note, the first person also made money. And that's the calculation we didn't make up here, is what were the proceeds of this original note. It would be the 16,500 minus the 770. So when the person who discounted it gets this 15,900, they're getting more money than they actually gave to someone. It's just a matter of shuffling money because you need cash. Thank you, Allison, for saving us. It's amazing what sitting back there reading and being real quiet can do versus up here pushing numbers and scribbling. So, okay, did we get most of your questions answered? Yeah, reading the right words, and that is the key. You do have to see the words and recognize them and use the words to know what calculation. When it says simple interest, we're adding. When it's discount interest, we're subtracting that original interest. So, okay, wait a minute till we got the tapes and we'll get out of here.